Indie LA.
I've always felt though, it's like if you're watching someone with any craft and you see like such a high level of competence and like they know what they're doing and you can see like a lot of intent with it, that you should respect it regardless of the medium.
All right, we're here in the studio with our featured guest, Dominic Sagona, DJ, professional rollerblader, and 3D generalist. Dominic, thanks for being on the podcast, man.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me, man. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about how you and I met. I kind of got connected with your business partner, Wes, and DJing, and you know that's kind of how like we know each other from like working with that. And how did you get started with like DJing exactly? Like where did that come about for you?
Yeah, Wes found you at a gig.
Yeah,
right?
yep,
Right, yeah.
I was playing sax.
He mentioned you as soon as he met you. He's like, I know this guy is cool. He's like, I think he'd be a good fit for a DJ. So I think you just asked how I met Wes, was it, or got into DJing?
Well, yeah, how you got into DJing exactly, and how you guys got into that business.
Well, I've known Wes for a long time. Like we're old childhood friends, so I've known him since like we're probably like 10.
Oh wow!
And so I mean, I don't know how, I don't want to reveal his age maybe, but no, we're both around 40, so we've known each other for a long time. I got into DJing, maybe junior year high school.
Okay.
Like mostly like rave scene. And like through that, like party scene. So I've been doing that a long time. Weddings the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe. They pay better than local LA club gigs.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, so after a while of just doing that and just kind of running that hustle, it's like you get to a point where like you need to find the balance of doing something that you love and that's
what
financially,
pays the bills.
yeah, that's like financially viable, but you can still do something that's creative and that you find joy in. So that's kind of where that balance came into play. I was living in Arizona at the time, and Wes has always been a musician, but I've been DJing for a long time. And I was like, what are you doing? We were catching up on the phone. He's like, I'm DJing now. I was like, you're DJing? I was like, I should be DJing. I've been doing this forever. You've been playing guitar. I was like, you got to hook me up. So he got me a job with this other company, and that's how I kind of got into doing weddings and stuff like that. And then maybe 5-6 years ago, we started our own business, Good Mood. And we've just kind of been doing that ever since.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you from LA? Are you from the Los
Orange
Angeles
County.
area? Orange County.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
Southern California, born and raised. Yeah.
Nice.
So everywhere from Orange County to like San Diego County, Los Angeles County, all SoCal.
Nice. So Dom, how do you think like living in Southern California has like influenced you like as an artist and as an athlete? Like I know you've been rollerblading. Tell me a little bit how you got into that.
Yeah. So this Southern California is kind of where I guess like what was called like aggressive skating, rollerblading, street skating, was kind of born. So like a lot of the biggest pros came from Southern California. So I was really lucky in that regard. Like it's a very much the right place, right time thing. Mm-hmm. So that's obviously invaluable in that regard.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like being like a West Coast hip hop artist or rapper. Like if you're living in East LA or Southeast LA, it's like you're in the spot, or so very much in that regard, in that vein. It's kind of invaluable like that because you could be a phenomenal skater, but for a long time if you're not in the pocket with the right people in the right place, you know, you won't get picked up as fast, or things won't, might not move as quickly for you.
I imagine it's competitive too,
Oh, of course.
like pushing yourselves and
yeah, it's like any discipline.
yeah.
Of course. It's very much like that's what actually drew me towards rollerblading. It's not a team sport.
Sure.
It's all self-reliant, like how far you push yourself, and
Okay.
I think that's one of the draws for people who are into sports like that. It's like you're not reliant on a team or someone else. It's like it's all on you.
Yeah.
How much you're willing to try.
Yeah,
and
like
push
what do you
yourself.
got? Like what do you got in you? Like what do you got? And then you also get to impart your own kind of flavor, like your own delivery to it, like any other art. Whether like say you're a lyricist or a hip hop artist or a dancer, or even like a director, any type of artist or painter, whatever medium it is.
Yeah,
you get to put yourself in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, tell me about your first like experience like rollerblading. Like, what got you into that exactly?
Oh, I mean, I was 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So I've been skating a long time. I started on quads and then new rollerblades for Christmas, and then I just did that every day, like after school till sundown.
Awesome.
Just go out, skate every day, and then you just do something long enough. You love something long enough, you get better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with anything else.
It's kind of like me. I started out when I was 9 skating on ice,
Okay.
not here.
Yeah.
Growing up in Canada, though, the winter sports
Okay.
are very, prominent. But if I grew up down here, maybe it would have been the same. Maybe I would have been on rollerblades.
Yeah.
So you're competent on a pair of skates,
On
a pair
the
of
ice, at least, yeah.
Oh, they're pretty close. Like I don't ice skate often.
I've rollerblade around, but I've never spent that much time on wheels.
Yeah, but it's an inline.
Yeah.
Like they're all in a
track?
straight line. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
in a track. I'm sure you could put on skates and be fine.
Yeah.
Can you
I'll
rollerblade?
have to maybe go out sometime.
Yeah. Can you rollerblade?
Well, I can. Yeah, I get around. I can ice skate without falling.
I've seen Marcus on the ice once or twice. Yeah.
I'd like to pick it up again. I had I had a cousin that I like looked up to, and he was very much into like skateboarding, and I wasn't allowed to skateboard as a kid because it was like too dangerous, right?
I think I had that same rule.
But I
weren't
had,
allowed to.
I wasn't allowed to. No, my parents were like way too nervous for me to get wrecked. Like, I had some rollerblades though, and I remember like trying, and I brought some to a skate park, like like downtown, like where I grew up in Michigan, Grand Rapids, and man, I was so intimidated by everybody who was like there. Like, I don't know. It was kind of like when I saw like everybody like skateboarding and stuff, there was like nobody rollerblading. Like it just wasn't a thing.
Sure.
Yeah. So like I was just like nervous. I'm just like, avoiding the ramps. I'm going like around the rails and stuff. And like my cousin, he's doing like all this cool stuff on the pipes and, yeah, so it really did. It was like a fun activity, like for me, but I was more into bike riding, man. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
yeah. It was kind of like scary for me, like as a kid, but
well, it's scary being thrown into a skate park
Yeah.
like that because not only are you like put in front of everyone, being on stage, and you're expected to perform, even if it's not at a high level. At the same time, you're like, I'm the black sheep. I'm the only dude.
Yeah.
On rollerblades,
Yeah.
everyone else is on the skateboard, so that's like the double whammy.
Yeah. Did you have an experience like that? Like, what was it like? Like for you when you went to like a park or like a new area?
There's always a stigma, like a long time against rollerbladers. Largely from the skateboard community, but that it's kind of waned through the years. It's kind of become like an antiquated or kind of just not a great perspective to hold anymore,
Yeah.
But there was a lot of that growing up. Not so much anymore. You get kind of used to it.
Okay.
Sure.
It's like I've been doing that it's been like that the whole time. So it's like I'm used to it. I've always felt though, it's like if you're watching someone with any craft and you see like such a high level of competence and like they know what they're doing and you could see like a lot of intent with it, that you should respect it regardless of the medium.
Yeah.
Yeah, just seeing people like in their element, doing something they're passionate about. And,
Yeah.
seeing that talent.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've applied that like that same sort of like moral to like your other art forms?
Yeah, I think I've learned a lot, like just from doing something like long enough, something that's physically brutal, like on the body, like you get hurt, so you have to endure that, and you fall, you get hurt, you have to get up, so there's a lot of life lesson within that, and then doing something long enough and then carrying it through to like a professional standard. There's also things that you learn there that you could apply to other disciplines as well. So there's just kind of like life lessons that you can apply not just to art, but just to maybe how you live your life in general.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, there's something about that falling down. That's
You got to get back up.
Get back up.
Yeah.
for sure. So how did you get into like the art of being a 3D journalist? Because you showed me some stuff that you were working on, and I was just like blown away by like.
Okay. Yeah. I think I showed you.
Yeah,
some
you were
at
showing
the
me like
house
some
a
maps
bit.
and different like designs, like architecture and.
Well, I've always been super creative. Like after DJing, I got into music production, so I did that for a long time, for like a good part of 10, 12 years. Released on some drum and bass labels and had a few releases, did that, but creatively that kind of started to become stagnant. And so I was looking for other outlets, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll play around with some 3D stuff, and then you just go through that rabbit hole and just ended up doing that. I ended up getting, because like to write good music takes a long time.
Yeah.
At least for me, like I'm not that competent. I could see like other artists and they're really good. You know, you could just see like some people are just better at certain things. So for me, it would take a long time. It's a very long-winded process to get something that's of good quality or that I feel is a good standard. Okay. But with like visual arts, it was a much quicker turnaround. So you're getting that
felt more natural.
Yeah, you're getting the dopamine hit quicker.
Sure.
You know, so I could do something for a couple days and get that same high that would take me something for like 4 months. I'm like, oh, this feels better. So I ended up getting to that a little bit, and you know, there's a huge rabbit hole of visual arts. Like you could do game design or motion graphics or
visual effects.
Yeah, there's so many different avenues, you know, within that. So it's fun. You know, I still explore a lot of them, but
tons of demand too for all that kind of stuff, especially with video being so prominent. And stuff
and there's it's been. You know, I'm kind of finding my niche a little bit, but yeah, that's also part of the discovery process. Is like what works for me, what do I like, you know, where do I fall in naturally, and it's also gratifying and fulfilling, you know, at the same time.
Nice.
I'm sure you guys went through the same steps, like to end up here.
Oh
and
yeah,
to want to shoot.
Yeah, for sure.
Know? It's like any creative goes through, or you know, anyone who's producing something, you have to go through those steps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I transitioned from being a professional skater, doing shows, performing on ice, getting into more of my video work and doing this kind of stuff. So it's definitely also been a transition, figuring out what I love and don't love about certain parts of the process and what I want to do more of. Yeah, definitely, I can relate to that.
Yeah, and I got fortunate just working with like a production company, like outside of work, like through a coworker that I met, and we got into just editing podcasts. And got into like field recording, and you know, I was like, oh, you know, I kind of want these to like kind of like combine a little bit. So like when Aaron came to me with the idea for this project, I was like, oh, this is perfect. We get to like record live, and I get to like, you know, produce a podcast. So yeah,
network with just all kinds of different artists and people. I mean, there's just a lot of creativity in this place, and it's nice to see it come together and get to know those people.
Yeah,
it's a culmination of all the things that you already picked up and learned and like to do.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, just piecing it together.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about music production then. Like what was that bug that bit you? You know, like I know everybody kind of has like their own like story for like how that starts for them.
Well, it's just kind of like being a young kid and partying and then going to like raves and going out to parties, you know, and then but the creative like producer part of me, the guy that likes to make things. So well, how do you do that? Like how is that done? You know, anytime I'm watching or I'm looking at something or I hear something, I'm always picking it apart. Like, oh, how would you synthesize that? How would you create that? So I think that's kind of how that started. I'm like, oh, how would you do that? Let's start playing with it. And you start playing with things. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's like your genre of choice? Like if you like you know, like things that you like. I know that you like talked about like some hip hop stuff, and like as a DJ, like you have a very like versatile ear. But do you have like a favorite that you like to compose?
I mostly produce drum and bass. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with that genre at all.
I am a little bit, but I'm not. I wouldn't call myself an aficionado.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a niche, but it's just a specific genre of electronic music.
Okay.
Yeah. So mostly in that camp, but I like to play with a little bit of everything. It's like once you can kind of paint, or you know, you could grab sounds and you could synthesize things and make things from the ground up. It's good to kind of experiment with different tempos and different, you know, aesthetics and see what happens.
Yeah, once you have that bass and you know how to play, you can do anything with it.
That's where it becomes fun.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, let's do this, or what if I do it like this? You know, once you have that competence, then you can kind of manipulate. Yeah.
And was music production, was that something that was also like self-taught for you?
Yeah. Everything I've done is just been self-taught. So lots of, like I just said at the top, like lots of tutorials. But when I got into that, there wasn't as much available, like readily available. Like now you can go on, there's like Patreons and people have, you know, like courses you can get, like they have all like the master class things that you see, you know, like it was none of that. It was like you have to meet someone, you have to like an organic direct network. Old school. Like, how should you be running? You know, how do you run a compressor? At what ratios? You know, what's proper EQing? You have to learn, or you have to actually read. Go buy a book.
Yeah.
On music engineering, on mixing. Imagine that, right? It's like so analog. Like now, now you just go digital, go on your phone. Okay, like YouTube video, how to so quick.
Yeah.
I got to think though, like having that knowledge and that base of like knowing how it actually works and how like that analog perspective and experience like just puts you way ahead of the game now compared to a lot of people who have maybe just jumped in, later on and don't really know the how and the why behind stuff.
Yeah, and it's like there's also it's just the it's just grinding for something, from the ground up, and like I don't know maybe if this is a far jump, but it's like kind of earning that knowledge.
Sure.
And it's like now people can just use, like even in the art community, you can just generate things with AI. Image generators, like they don't have to learn anything, like, composition fundamentals, like.
Yeah, just click of a button.
Like anything just about art fundamentals, And it's the same thing with like Chat GPT, like kids now can just go and like write up their homework. They don't have to learn anything.
Yeah, that's insane.
like they just print the essay on whatever, colonialism and whatever, and then it's done. Your homework's done. You don't have to do the work to learn something.
Borderline dangerous.
Yeah, there's value.
There's value in the grind.
And lessons, probably that you learning that.
Along the way.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I want to hear more about your rollerblading career, dude. Yeah, for sure, because that's something that's phenomenal. You told me that you went pro when you were how old?
15, 16?
Okay, yeah.
15, 16.
Incredible.
Yeah, just like, so being in the hub, meaning like Southern California, and just having like some close friends. Those close friends knew some of the biggest pros in the industry at the time. So we'd go out on a session and then they would be there they would show up and be there.
Yeah.
That's, it's an invaluable opportunity. So, just by proxy, they see you skating and then, end up getting picked up and then you get on, one big team and then the other things just kind of snowball. So that's like we talked about before. That was, just like the invaluable part of being in Southern California, being exposed to just the core of the industry, just in terms of talent. And then also where the companies are actually, or where they're actually located.
Okay.
Yeah, so that started at 16, and then just been I did that through about 30 professionally, and then I retired at 30. Took maybe 8-9 years off, and I started skating like a year and a half, two years ago again.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So is there like a lot of like touring involved? Like you said that you joined like a team, and then. Yeah, is that kind of what I don't know anything about it. So.
Yeah, no, it's very much the same model as any professional sport, but yeah, it was lots of touring, and from like I said, like 16 through 30, it was just endless touring, but international touring, so a lot of opportunity to travel the world.
Awesome,
which was fantastic. But like touring so frequently that I'd be begging my sponsors, like, can we just not go anywhere
for like a little bit,
please? Then they'd be telling, no, just go to this one more event, one more contest, one more tour. I promise next year's, we'll recognize your efforts and it'll be shown in your paycheck. Like, fine. Yeah. So lots of touring, lots of huge opportunity. At that age, my teachers would trip out. I mean, they were really cool too, because I would leave for weeks at a time. And they just pass all my work, like
really?
In high school. Yeah, they were cool. Super cool. But I'm also like coming to school, like showing up with like pro products, like boxes of skates with my name on them, and like
cool.
clothing and like the whole nine. So like they're recognizing that you're out working.
Yeah, you're not just skipping school.
Yeah, you're showing up with magazines. You're on the cover. You have like big interviews. Like there's things happening. So really fortunate in that regard. They were super cool.
Cool
about that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was there a particular skater that you really looked up to?
That's how I got sponsored.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's he ended up being my mentor, and obviously now lifelong friend. My buddy Josh, his I love him to death, but his ego is what got me sponsored, because I loved and admired his skating so much that I would go out and try to copy him to the tip of the tee.
Okay.
So I get done with the trick and be like, did I look like him? Did I dress like him? Like the whole thing, like the whole nine,
Yeah.
And then one day he showed up on one of these sessions that we were just talking about. So, friend of a friend, and he was at the session, but he watched me skate, and I looked just like him. Yeah, and Josh was a little egotistical. He's like, I like his skating because I just skated like him. So then he ended up picking me up, and he was really huge at the time. So that snowballed, and I ended up getting on a lot of big companies from there.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's I did have people I looked up to, and that's how it worked out for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. Not everyone, like you say, you kind of modeled your style after him.
Yeah.
Not many people then get the opportunity to like work side by side with that person.
Yeah. I ended up working side by side with him for years. He's a lifelong friend. He's a good guy.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So with your skating, I know you have your clothing line, and you have your own blades. Is that the right way to say
sure.
it? Yeah. So
sure.
talk to me about that. How did that get started?
So like we spoke about earlier, like I kind of took a break from skating, and then I reached out to USD, who's the manufacturer of these skates.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, Matthias, he's the owner. I was like, I need some skates. I want to start skating again. And, I was with them for years and years. So you kind of get like the, I don't know, we kind of get like the I don't know what the way to put it is, but we kind of get like a lifetime sponsorship type thing because we've been with them for so long. So you guys always get skates. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I hit him up for some skates, and he's like, hey, we should do a pro skate for you for their 25-year anniversary. So 25 years as a company, they wanted to do a pro Dominic Sagona skate to celebrate it. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I'm down. I was like, well, maybe I should skate a little bit. So I'm not,
get back into it.
So I'm not completely like I don't look like I don't look terrible.
Right.
So then that actually I just ended up falling into it again. Like I'll go out and I'm actually having fun.
Okay.
So yeah, I ended up doing that. And then that snowballed into, well, if we're gonna release a skate, let's release it ourselves and let's distribute it ourselves. So, we ended up handling all of the US distribution for the skate, and we let USD handle all of the European distribution. They're located in Germany. So they handle all of that. So, all right, if we're going to handle the U.S. distribution, we're going to sell them. We need a website. Well, if we have a website, we might as well sell some other things too.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's make, maybe we'll make some shirts or something. Well, if we're going to make some shirts, let's make some jackets. So let's make some hats. Let's make some hats, And then I'm like, all right. Well, if we're doing that, I was like, well, I have this huge, 3D, not huge, but I have the skill set where I can make my own promo and everything. So I was like, well, we might as well do the ads and all the CG work for it too.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing, because I want it to be how I want it. It's my name. I was like, it's got to be. Ended up turning into like this huge, long-winded project. Yeah, it took so long, better part of the year to get it all going. But yeah, just like super snowball.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of got to use like all aspects of what you're doing,
all of your
on
skills.
one project.
Yeah, that's what made it super fulfilling. It was like your physical skill set, and then your 3D skill set, like everything really culminating into one thing, and kind of a bigger project, which was cool. And then it wasn't just me. Like there's a team. There's me, Michael Martino. He's a really talented designer. He's he's like head of product design at TikTok. So really talented UI and graphic designer. And he handled like all the website for us, for the brand. And then he's also had some other projects with clothing, like sourcing. Like he was just really proficient in that area. So he did like all the logo work, source all the clothing, just handled all that. So that was instrumental in just making things happen in that regard. And then the other part of the team was Rashard Johnson, my buddy. And like you guys, he works in media, so like filming and media production, stuff like that. So he handled everything in that regard, like all the ads and all the filming and all the promo and everything like that. And then he also handles, he's also the head of the distribution in the US. So he also distributes for other brands and everything like that. So he handles the distribution for the skates.
Nice. So you have a good support team.
We have there's no way I could do all of that on my own. Yeah, no way. Yeah, it's a huge team effort. Clear. And the project wouldn't have been of the standard, of the quality standard that it was at launch without three dudes working on it.
What goes into like designing a skate? Like how did you make that your own?
Your own?
Yeah.
So, USD already has different molds that they'll have on hand, For me, like I'll try different ones that I like, and then you can kind of alter it from there, but you're not going to really produce your own mold from the ground up. That's just too expensive. So it's usually like color combinations, maybe materials and things like that. So that would differentiate yours from, say, another skate that's sitting on the shelf. So you might change the liner, which is, the boot, that your foot goes in that's inside of the plastic shell. So you might change the materials and like the footbed and things like that, how it heat molds and just lacing system, just a lot of cosmetic and material adjustments and fine tuning those elements, and the same approach for everything on the outside. So for the shell, how hard it is, the plastics for the sole, for the frame, what kind of wheels, what types of urethane, how hard they are, what colors, everything like that. So with all of those different things fine-tuned, that's what would differentiate, this pro skate versus that other skate that's sitting on the market.
Yeah.
You called it a certain type of skate. What was it?
Oh, so for my model, it's called the USD Sway.
Sway.
Yeah. That's just the name of that boot, that model name. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's just
like the mold
Okay.
of it.
yeah, the mold. It's just called the Sway.
Is there like a particular skill set that the Sway is used for, particularly like tricks or?
Yeah, so like any, it'd be like there's a huge different, like there's so many different bikes
Sure.
that you could buy. So you could buy
Right,
a bike that's like a road bike, or like an off-road bike or a mountain bike. So of course it's geared for street skating. Yeah, and then even within that realm of street skating, there's a multitude of different models that you can get, and then that one is still unique. In the sense that it's not going to perform like the next street skate, and that all, that choice of what street skate I'm going to pick, all boils down to the person and the rider, so it's just like picking a shoe or it's just another fine-tuned element within a street skate, or another niche street skate. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes. And you said that, you worked with a team of people like on this project. And it sounds like that was like vital to like the production, right? So, when did you have like a realization, I guess, when you knew how important it was to like collaborate with people or like work as a team? Like, cause I know that that's not like a lot of people, they come out, like if they move from one place to come out to Los Angeles, they might try to go it alone, might try to freelance alone. Gig on your own, whatever it is. But at one point in your life was that important, teamwork?
Yeah, I actually just kind of happened organically. Like we're all buddies and we talk regularly and we all kind of skate together. Like they're all also pro skaters. So we all skate together. I was originally just going to build the website like on
By yourself?
like Wix or something like that. Yeah, by myself, and I started doing mock-ups and Mike was like, yo, let me help you with this. I was like, great. Like, cool. Like, help me out. And then when we started like discussing clothes and ideas, he's like, here, because he was a professional, and in that regard, he's like, here, let me help you with this. I'm great.
Yeah.
Cool. And then with Richard, we've been filming and working together for years, so that just kind of organically happened.
Okay.
Yeah, it just kind of fell into place.
Cool.
Having three buddies and everyone just kind of took their role.
Took their role.
Yeah, naturally. And also felt good. It's like I'm happy to work out the deal, or to pay them for their work too. Which also made it that much more fulfilling.
Nice.
Yeah, it all just kind of fell into place. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah. Originally, I wanted to try it on, but it's like,
Well, like you said, like working with people who had like specialties in certain areas, it helped bring the whole project, elevate the whole project.
Yeah. It makes more sense. Like, you hire a professional for a reason.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's my opportunity to have someone do something for me. Great.
Yeah.
Like, sweet. Yeah. Stoked. Like, it's always me. It's always me doing everything. Like, I'm great.
As long as you guys have like a like-minded like perspective,
Sure.
you know that the project is going to come together like how you expect. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Well, tell me about like what influences you like day to day, whether they're, artists, it's music, it's, athletes, or like anything at all. Like what keeps you motivated in like the art world?
Ooh, in the art world, other artists.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just go through like my feed of just crazy digital art and just see what's going on and get inspired. Like, oh, I'll try something like that, or have a different take on it, or, flip something around. Music. A lot of electronic music. I like really sharp, razor sharp beats. So,
Okay.
a lot of electronic music I like. As far as like athletics, a lot of my early inspiration came from like martial arts and like b-boying, like breakdancing and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I like to infuse that into my skating early on. So that was super influential during like really informative and years where I was developing my style and my approach and kind of delivery and like how I wanted to present things.
I remember watching one trick on your Instagram where you're skating and then you jump and do like a 2-foot push off of a tree.
Oh, okay.
And it
it's gotta be an old clip.
It reminded me like it's like very parkour, but in skates.
Yeah. So it's just kind of pulling. I always try to tell people this, particularly within the skate world. I've found, at least for me, that it's more valuable to pull outside influences and then kind of infuse that into your skating, because that's what will differentiate you from the next man or the next skater. Instead of looking at another skater and trying to imitate that, then you're just kind of a copy of a copy. But if you're pulling from other things, then now it's something new. Yeah. And you could maybe apply that to any discipline, I would think. And then like another point of what I would call successful point of reference, I had a buddy, maybe one of the most influential, biggest skaters who ever did it, but his name was Dustin Latimer. But at the time, he was pulling his inspiration from race car racing and driving, like the way he would like apex and like hit turns and stuff like that. And then if you know that and you go back and look at his footage, you'd be like, oh, okay. You could see it. So that was really fun to watch him kind of like develop that mindset. And then, you start to watch him manipulate and kind of approach it like that. So yeah, and this was years ago, a long time ago now.
Yeah.
Old man now.
You said that your influence came some from breakdancing and martial arts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think that's really cool. Like, what kind of martial arts was it? Just like professional, or was it like the Hollywood movies kind of? Like
Bruce Lee, like a lot of that. Yeah, a lot of that. Probably really like commercial by maybe a martial arts purist standard. Like I'm just like an outside looking.
Still influential.
Bruce Lee movies.
I'm more of a Ninja Turtles guy.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, it was the way Donatello did it. Yeah. No, yeah. So it was probably very layman in that regard, but just the whole aesthetic, the whole ninja aesthetic, like apply that to your skating, so yeah,
that's cool, man.
Well, you said you retired, from professional skating when you were 30.
Yeah.
I mean, I just retired a year ago from my performing career, and moving on at 35.
Yeah. What made you?
I mean, for me, I was competitive skater until I was 28. So I went quite long in my competitive career. Kind of went into shows just to try to like find the love again.
Yeah.
For the sport, enjoy the travel that comes with touring.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and just kind of enjoy skating and just being and going around. And
recently,
I did it for about 6 years. I toured for 6 years. Loved it. Still love it, but also felt like I was ready to
move on
to the next chapter. And the body can only do certain things for so long too, and it gets harder and harder every year to maintain that. And I just felt like I was in a really good place to move on, and had projects and other things I wanted to do lined up, so it just felt pretty natural for me. But I know you said you kind of took a hiatus doing other things, but you've come back to it.
Yeah.
What is there something that really motivated you to come back to it, or that you feel like made you want to get back in your skates?
It's always been a big social thing for me. So just going out with friends and kind of like catching that vibe is fun. It's like very comparable to like a b-boy circle where everyone's like in a circle and you do something, you're like, oh, I'm next, and you come out and you kind of put your flex forward. So it's very much like that. It's like what a skate session will feel like. It's like someone hits a trick or something, like, oh, okay, like, and then you come out and do your thing, So that for me has always been the big draw. Yeah. Like that. So if I'm not skating with my friends, I'm like, it's not nearly as fulfilling. It's just like work at that point. I'll put the 360 down. It's just straight work. Yeah. So just connecting back with that community. Yeah. And it's that vibe, that positive vibe that'll feel like a good session, and then like good skating. We'll come out of that. Yeah. And I imagine you can like apply that to like all your other things too, just that, that feeling, Yeah. For me, that's the biggest part of it. Yeah. Cool.
Do you ever get any of the young kids now, like in your position, coming up to you?
Yeah.
With those sessions and kind of being on the other side of things?
Yeah. It's like, there's this one kid, Thor, and he's killing it right now. He's like maybe 8. 7.
Oh, really?
And you could just see it. Like, because I mean, you see like a lot of young kids skating, like, okay, they're just kids having fun with this. Like, he's doing things that like we're almost doing. Like, he's really picking it up quick. And he came out, and I actually gave him some a pair of my new skates, and he loves them. So it's been really cool and like an honor that he's stoked on them and rides them. But yeah, watching him's been crazy.
Yeah.
And he's just a little kid, and like you watch some kids, and you're like, that dude's got it. Yeah.
I think one of the most like rewarding things, like as an artist of any kind, is like when you can like pass something down, something that you've learned from somebody that was older than you, passing it on to people. Like there's something special about that, because that's what I think is about. Like
it is
just like making a connection with like the next generation.
Yeah, I've always loved that. Like I used to like go and teach skate camps a lot, and go like they fly me out. I could stay there for weeks on end. And teach kids everything from the ground up. Like wake up, good breakfast, stretch morning fundamentals before you get started skating, and then we'd have a session together, and we do that for weeks on end. So yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love teaching and working with kids. It's always fun.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, what are you working on right now? Like, what do you got? You got some projects you're working on that you're excited to release?
Skate wise, I mean, right now we're just focusing on the new brand, so kind of just like seeing that through, finishing that up. Work wise, like there's always there's art projects and like client work that I'm kind of getting through. I just finished something a couple days ago for this digital brand called Drug Receipts. So they do like it's like an NFT. You buy their NFT, and then you get a whole physical wearable that comes with it. So you get it. Yeah. So there's like physical perks, it's a clothing line basically that you get out of it. So I just finished some work for them, like some promo work, 3D promo work. And there's always like client work I'm doing in that regard. But in that space for personal work, I'm always looking for the next thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I like to do environment work. I like to do motion graphics work. So sometimes it's about picking what you need to do in the endless sea of possibility. Yeah, like that's the hard part is just going, okay, let's do this one thing. So I'm always working on new things. I don't know what the next one is, but part of that process is the brainstorming process.
Yeah,
sitting down and making a mood board, pulling inspiration. Okay, I'm going to do this and this. Mm-hmm. So I just finished that project, the Drug Receipts one, yesterday, the day before. So.
Now it's on to the next.
It's on to the next. Yeah, I gotta think about it and see what we want to do.
All right.
Yeah. Well, now I kind of want to hear about your creative process. Yeah. You talked about like having a visual. Like, does that help you kind of like map things out? Yeah.
So it depends on what you're doing, but like for example, for a while I got really into doing like material authoring. So like what that is it's literally like writing a material from the ground up. So like if you go into like a video game or an environment, and like you look around, you see a rock or you see these tiles that are on the ground, it's literally authoring that from the ground up. So making that from nothing, from black and white alpha maps, and then, a combination of noises and everything like that. But to make that, you draw a mood board. Okay, let's pull up all these tiles. Let's look at the wear, the dirt, the shapes, shape language, everything like that. And then you pull up the mood board and you start doing your own thing. So that would be an approach to doing that.
Okay.
And the same thing with environment art. You might pull up a scene that you just like, the composition or, how the mountains are shaped or, the grass or whatever. So you pull up all these different elements that you like and start to composite your own thing, or produce your own thing, But yeah, it'll start with a mood board and an idea, and then kind of working through it, and, that production process is different depending on what you're making, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said you're a very visual person, so I imagine the mood board is.
Yeah, it helps. It helps refine it, so you don't detour.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Keeps you kind of narrowing the focus.
Yeah, like having that, that rigidity to like not being able to break, that rule set, helps you stay focused and, helps dictate what you need to do.
Okay, cool.
For sure, yeah. I think it's fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, where can people find your stuff, your websites, socials?
Yeah. For the skate stuff, it'll be at Dom Sagona, DOMSAGONA, at Instagram. For the art stuff, Instagram will be Dominic Sagona Art. Easy enough. Art Station, just Dominic Sagona, DOMINIC.
Cool, man.
Yeah, easy enough.
Nice. There's one hat on there I saw today that I'm definitely going to order.
Oh yeah.
dude.
Which one was it? Was it the tracker?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Trapper. It's called the Trapper
the
hat.
Trapper.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we need that in the cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I want a jacket, man. Those look cool.
They came out dope. Again, that was all Mike, my buddy Mike's doing. He made it happen in that regard. So yeah, but they came out cool.
Yeah, we're excited for it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Dominic, dude, thanks for being on the podcast,
Thank you
man.
for having me.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. Thank you guys. It was a lot of fun.